Hi everyone, can you all see and hear okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. I'm Dahlia, I'm the Marketing Executive for Destination New South Wales, and I just want to talk you through some of our highlights today. So some key experiences that you can find in Sydney and some of the most popular self-drives that we have in our beautiful state. New South Wales is a very large and also very colourful state. As you can kind of see in this map here, we have lots of different regions, different landscapes, and we are the most diverse state in Australia. So just imagine that you can find a lot of different colours here, and all the different landscapes that you think of when you think of Australia can be found in New South Wales. But we don't have time to go through the whole state today, so I'm just going to focus on our sort of main three drives. But we are going to start off in Sydney, which is the largest gateway into Australia, and most people, if they think of an Australian holiday, particularly if they're going for the first time, they want to go to Sydney. They want to experience our stunning harbour. It is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and they want to see the iconic Sydney Opera House and maybe do a bridge climb on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So we've got Emma talking about the Sydney Opera House just after this presentation, so I'm not going to go into detail about our icons today, but I just really want to encourage you to make sure that people really have enough time at the harbour when they arrive in Sydney and spend 2 or 3 nights at least in our beautiful city. One of the best ways to see Sydney Harbour is on a bridge climb. I mean, it's an amazing experience anyway. So you climb up to the summit of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and you get these 360 aerial views over our gorgeous city and harbour. And the good thing is the guides will also tell you what you can see where, tell you a little bit about the history, so you get a really good sense of orientation as you start your Australian journey. Of course, there's also lots of different ways to experience the harbour by boat, lots of different cruise options. You know, you can do lunch cruises and evening cruises, a sunset dinner, and you can jump on a ferry, which is a really inexpensive way to experience Sydney, jump on a water taxi or a yacht or a sailing boat. Also great coastal walks and walks along the harbour foreshore to really give you that overview of Sydney and to enjoy those stunning views. So there's a bit of a delay. Here we go. Sydney is also obviously known for its beach lifestyle. Bondi Beach is obviously Australia's most famous beach. You would have maybe all seen Bondi either in real life or on Bondi Rescue before. And we now have a new walk which connects Bondi and Manly. So our 2 most popular beaches are now connected through this 80-kilometre walk. 80 kilometres is quite a lot, so not something I would suggest that you do in just a day, but you can break out the walk, and the really nice thing is that it takes you along our icons as well. So you'll walk past the Sydney Opera House and you'll actually cross the Sydney Harbour Bridge on this walk as well. And then Bondi is basically where that Australian surf lifestyle just really comes to life. You can learn to surf with Let's Go Surfing. You can sit on the beach and watch the surfers, go for a bit of a swim, or go for a really nice walk to Coogee Beach or Manly Beach. Sydney is also host to a lot of different events. I mean, New Year's Eve in Sydney is one of those classic sort of bucket list experiences that hopefully your customers now have the time to sort of save up for and make a reality after the pandemic. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's sort of almost everyone's dreams to see those fireworks over Sydney Harbour. And we also have a range of other events that happen annually. The Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras that takes place sort of end of Feb to early March every year, with one of the most colourful and biggest Mardi Gras parades in the world. We've got Handa Opera, which is an outdoor opera performance, and where they built this floating stage on Sydney Harbour, so you can watch a performance with the Sydney Opera House and Harbour Bridge in the backdrop. There's also fireworks every night, so if you're not seeing the fireworks on New Year's Eve, you can still see them at Handa Opera. And then Vivid Sydney is a festival of light music and ideas that takes place every sort of end of May to mid-June. Obviously this year it's a little bit different and unfortunately had to be cancelled, but it will be back next year. And I want to give you a short overview of what Vivid Sydney looks like. So let's see if this video works. Yep, here we go. So I would actually be in Sydney right now for Vivid, but I'm really excited to that the event is coming back next year. And we've got a question now. We are going to start off with a very, very easy one. What is the Sydney Festival of Light, Music and Ideas called? Is it Mardi Gras? Is it Lumiere Sydney? Is it Vivid Sydney or Lighted Up Sydney? Yes, everyone got that one correct. I think that was a really easy entry question anyway, so well done. And yep, we'll continue on with some road trips. So leaving Sydney and going out into our beautiful regions. And this is one road trip or itinerary that I like to call the wine and wildlife trip, because it combines the wildlife of the Blue Mountains with amazing wines in the Hunter Valley. And then you can loop back from the Hunter, which is Australia's oldest wine region, either to Sydney, it's only a 2-hour drive, or you can go to Port Stephens and then head along the coast all the way up to Byron Bay. So nice little loop here. Depending on how much time your customers have, you can either use this as a standalone itinerary or use it to combine it with the legendary Pacific Coast Drive. In the Blue Mountains, we have the iconic Three Sisters rock formation that you can enjoy in different ways. You can either just stand on the lookout, you don't have to be so daring, or if you are daring, you can take that cable car ride with Scenic World. So the Scenic Skyway, or you can step on the steepest passenger rail with Scenic Railway as well. Lots of different ways to experience the Three Sisters. I would always recommend spending a night or two in the Blue Mountains at least, even though you can do it as a day trip from Sydney, because there's nothing better than seeing the Three Sisters at sunrise or at sunset. So if you're spending a night here, this is your best chance of seeing, you know, the Three Sisters in that glorious red light. And it also gives you much better chances of seeing the wildlife out in the wild. You can do lots of hiking in the Blue Mountains. There's great hiking trails, lots of waterfalls, and amazing accommodation as well. Wildlife you can look out for are kangaroos and wombats, and kangaroos actually also hop around the Hunter Valley. So Australia's oldest wine region is really all about the good life. This is where you can have amazing food, you can have amazing cheeses, you can have beers and so forth, and do hot air ballooning, you can do Segway tours, horseback riding. So it's not just all about eating and drinking, but this is really what you come to the Hunter for. And this is the kind of experience I really miss in my life right now, just sitting with friends and eating and drinking somewhere in the beautiful outdoors. And then, like I said, from the Hunter, you can also loop to Port Stephens and head along the legendary Pacific coast all the way up to Byron Bay. So this is our coastal drive that winds north from Sydney via Port Stephens to Port Macquarie, Coffs Harbour, and then all the way to Byron. Lots of your customers will also continue that journey onto Brisbane or even Cairns for multi-centre itinerary. In Port Stephens, you can find a lot of dolphins. It is the dolphin capital of Australia, and you can swim with wild dolphins here. Or if you want to see the big guys, you can also jump on a whale watching cruise. We have about 30,000 whales migrate along the New South Wales coastline every year from May to November. So your chances of seeing whales are really, really high. We also have sand dunes in Port Stephens, where you can go on a quad bike adventure with an Aboriginal guide, or head to Port Macquarie to the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital, where you can hear about the conservation of the koala, how they're being treated and protected, and you can also get involved and adopt a koala. This little one is my little Oxley Twinkles. I'm a very proud koala mummy of this little gorgeous Joey. More wildlife can be found near Coffs Harbour at Emerald Beach, or head inland from Coffs Harbour to Dorrigo National Park for beautiful rainforests. You can do guided walks here, see waterfalls, and just really enjoy that stunning scenery. Byron Bay is your final stop on the New South Wales side of this beautiful self-drive, and you're probably all quite familiar with Byron Bay. It's surf culture, it's yoga culture, it's very independent sort of hippie flair. We call it bohemian chic, and it is really quite unique in the atmosphere. It's so great that Chris Hemsworth has decided to make it his home. In Byron Bay, you can also be the first person to see the sunrise at Cape Byron, which is the most easterly point on Australia's mainland. And I think we've got another question here coming up. Yep, here is the next question. How far is the Hunter Valley from Sydney by car? Is it 20 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, or 40 minutes? Two hours, perfect. You all paid attention. And shall we go into question number 3 as well now, before we head on south from Sydney? How many humpback whales can you see migrating along the New South Wales coastline between May and November every year? Is it 30,000 whales, 15,000 whales, 20,000 whales, or 5,000 whales? 30,000, that's correct. Well done, everyone. And now we're heading south of Sydney on a self-drive that is lesser known, but just as awesome as the drive north. So on the Grand Pacific Drive, this is a drive that a lot of people would do if they're going from Sydney down to Melbourne. So we're going all the way down the south coast of New South Wales to the Victorian border, and then people can continue on from there and make their journey to Melbourne, because obviously that's a great holiday. A lot of people want to see, you know, both Sydney and Melbourne on their trip to Australia anyways. Along the south coast, we stop in Jervis Bay for some of the whitest beaches in Australia. We have more dolphins and whales here in Jervis Bay as well. Lots of different operators that organise the cruises out here. You can stay in glamping accommodation at Paper Butt Camp in the Australian bushland for a proper Aussie glamping experience. Spot kangaroos on the beach at Pretty Beach. Sample some of the best oysters and seafood that you can find in Australia, and you can also do oyster shucking and really eat those oysters fresh from the sea. Or stop in Montague Island, sorry, my mouse is really sensitive, to swim with fur seals. So Montague Island is an island off the coast of Narooma on the New South Wales south coast. And here you can find a lot of marine life. I mean, you can find turtles, dolphins, manta rays, but the amazing thing really is swimming with these fur seals. You jump into the water and they'll be swimming right next to you. That's all from me today, but before I finish off, I just want to invite you all to join our upcoming webinar series, which starts on the 16th of June. We've got 4 weekly webinars where we've got 3 of our products from New South Wales included. So a really good chance for you guys to meet some of our operators down in Sydney and New South Wales. All the information for the webinar can be found on our Facebook page. So I encourage you all to follow us on Facebook. I'll also pop the link in the chat function just now because it's really the best way to stay in touch with us. And that's all from me. I think we've got 2 more questions though. Yep, here we are. Where can you find some of the whitest beaches in Australia? Is that Lord Howe Island, Jervis Bay, Byron Bay and Port Stephens? Now, they're all beautiful beaches in New South Wales, just to make it more confusing for you guys. And then the final question, where can you find the iconic Three Sisters rock formation? Is it in the rocks, is it the Macquarie, the Snowy Mountains, or the Blue Mountains? Let's see how you all go. Perfect, all correct. That's great. And we've got some amazing wine to give away today. So good luck to you all and thank you.